Hello, everybody, and welcome to Matt and John Make a Podcast. This is episode 7, and right off the bat, Antonio freaking Brown. I'm not going to even tell you what the other topics are, because he is an ass.
A very dumb one too at that.
Yes. So, it feels like it doesn't stop. There's always something.
I swear that we
him.
talk about him every single week on the podcast.
And this week, apparently, he had a little tussle argument with the GM of.
You could say that
of Oakland. Yeah. I don't even know. I don't even know where to begin.
Like the only thing that you can do is just laugh. Like and the thing was, like, the whole national media and Oakland Raider fans, it's not like that we didn't warn you about the guy. It's not like that we didn't warn you that just because he changed where he was, that he was going to automatically change who he was as a person. This man was handsomely paid in Pittsburgh, was a vital part of the Steelers offense, had a Hall of Fame quarterback throwing him the ball, was with one of the most prestigious sports franchise in North America, and he was still super unhappy. So what do you think that was going to happen from him going to Pittsburgh and then over to Oakland under one of the most dysfunctional sports franchises in North America sports? And whether it's the whole nonsense with the cryo chamber, with a freaking helmet, and now he's getting into a fist fight with his boss, and like, I'm watching Adam Schefter, and you just hear him, and like, he's probably saying to himself, like, is this really happening?
Yeah. There is an article on ESPN. I read it. It's a good article chronicling the timeline of Antonio Brown's run with the Raiders. And this is by Paul Gutierrez from ESPN.com. And we're going to go through this just to see the escalation of the tomfoolery and the SAT word, and the craziness that is happening with Antonio Brown. Let's go all the way back to March 13th. He's introduced to Oakland after a trade from the Steelers for a 3rd and 5th round pick. Looking pretty good now.
One of the happiest days of my life when he was dealt, by the way.
He's given a 3-year contract or extension worth $30.125 million. And there's quotes here from Antonio Brown. We can laugh now. I bring accountability. I bring actions, not what I say, what I do, how I approach things. I'm just gonna say that one more time for all of you at home. I bring accountability. I bring actions, not what I say, what I do, how I approach things.
Oh yeah, because when I look up accountability in the freaking dictionary, there's Antonio Brown's face plastered right there.
John, you're silly. Nobody uses dictionaries anymore. How dare you? What is a dictionary? We Google it.
Okay.
If you Google images, if you Google image accountability, his face is not there. Okay. Let's fast forward to May 28th. Brown is really impressing his coaches and teammates in the OTAs. John Gruden says, Brown, quote here, talking about coach, Gruden, it's never a dull day with Coach. Always challenging, always high energy, and always detailed and fundamental in regards to our assignment. July 25th. He shows up to Napa, California, Brown does, for training camp with frostbite on his feet.
And while entering through a hot air balloon.
We'll get to that. That happened earlier in July, apparently in France, because he wasn't wearing the right stuff for his feet when you're in something that is, negative 200 degrees Fahrenheit?
I mean, like, you would think, hey, like, I'm walking into a really cold chamber. You would think, like, hey, I should probably, have something on my feet. Nah. AB's like, nah. I'm good, bro.
Let's fast forward to the next day, July 26th. I'm talking close to the mic. I feel like I'm on NPR. Buzz, buzz, buzz. He takes the hot air balloon ride over wine country over in Napa to arrive at training camp. But later that same day, he's get put on the non-football injury list. That's funny. Because feet. 2 days later, on July 28th, he's activated from the non-football injury list, and he participates in pre-practice walkthroughs. It's okay. We're making progress. Okay, we can put
Slightly.
we can put that frostbite behind. It's okay. People make mistakes.
And then there comes
July 30th. Antonio Brown, he's there for the first half of practice. People say he's putting on the show. He's doing Antonio Brown things. But he kind of quits there and leaves the field in the practice facility early. Does not come back for 2 weeks because he seeks help for his feet and because of the helmet, banning his, quote here, 10-year-old Schult Air Advantage helmet for safety reasons. Now we get into the good stuff, John. That's only July 30th.
It's only July 30th. Good grief.
A couple weeks later, takes us to August 13th. Brown comes back. He says it was good to hear positive stuff from Mike. How do you say?
Mike Mayock.
Mayock, good. And Coach John Gruden, because they were supporting him. Excuse me, while he was gone. Okay. 2 days later, we got apparently Derek Carr and Brown were putting on again a show in pregame warm-ups down in Arizona, but Brown does not play in the game. Okay, looking good.
It's only preseason.
Only preseason. They're
Only
looking
preseason.
good in the warm-ups. Okay, very good. August 18th. After he loses his first grievance about the helmet, Brown leaves the training facility up in Napa again and is fined $40,000 by Mayock for the absence. And this is when he tells tells reporters that we saw on all through social media that it's either all in or all out with Antonio Brown.
Mm-hmm.
That was pretty much the first holy crap, what is happening in Oakland.
It was pretty much an ultimatum laid down by Mike Mayock. It's like, hey, either you come in and you start practicing or just leave. That was essentially how I took it,
Yep.
and I think it was I think right there should have been a very clear message to him that said, hey, playtime is over. But this is Antonio Brown, and of course that he didn't understand that. So this leads to what then, Matt?
Moving on to August 19th, real quick. the Raiders training camp breaks. They break training camp, and he comes back to the team, and they head to the team facility in Alameda. A couple of days later, on the 22nd, again during warm-ups, Brown and Carr look impressive when they were up in Canada, and they ask Gruden if they can run a play in the game against the Packers. Gruden quickly says no, as both of them don't play in that game, which that was the 80-yard field game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yep.
And then Antonio Brown skipped mandatory pregame walkthroughs. Mm-hmm. Here we go. August 25th. This is when he loses his second grievance about his old helmet. But his agent says he will find a new helmet, get a deal, and play on. Endorsement deal. So I don't know if this is some like crazy plot to get more money. If it is, it's stupid and kind of genius in a way. But let's fast forward to a couple days ago, yesterday, as of this recording on the 5th, to September 4th. It's mentioned here in an article that he did once when he was part of the Steelers with a meeting with Mike Tomlin, that he Facebook Live said meeting. And now he posted on Instagram the letter that his GM sent him detailing the fines. One from the 18th, that was $40,000, and one from the 22nd, which was $13,950. Antonio Brown tags the Raiders in the post, which says, "When your own team want to hate." Bad English, but regardless, it's okay. Says here, Brown usually stretches with the team on his own during the team stretch, but skips this period before coming out for individual drills. It says here he goes through them, quote, half-heartedly. He takes some plays off, has some words with the strength and conditioning coach, throws a football into a fence after catching a pass from Carr, and then jogging to the end zone. Apparently, the reports are he gets into a confrontation like we talked about with Mayock on the practice field. And then later in the locker room, he tells two reporters he will speak on Thursday, which is today on this recording. Then he announces he's reached a deal with Zenith to wear their helmet. So apparently an endorsement deal. And he says, I guess on social media, I quote, "most calculated move by far," insinuating that he did this just so he can get a deal. Trying to be smart. This was yesterday.
This guy is such a freaking narcissist. It's like, oh my god.
And now we move to the 5th of September, Jesus. Which is again today at this recording. Reports are saying that Brown will be suspended for conduct detrimental to the team, which gets in a whole battle about guaranteed money and will he even play for the Raiders.
Honestly, I think and I believe that a lot of people feel this way. I don't think that he'll play a single down for the Oakland Raiders. I think he's on a mission to quite frankly take himself out of the whole entire league. Like, I don't know what other team would want to take a chance on this man. Like, he's now burned two teams in the span of like 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
6 months. Like at least with Terrell Owens, he was at least happy for that for his like first year in like a Philadelphia. Like everything was fine, but AB has not even played in a single game for the Oakland Raiders, and he's already exhausted both the general manager Mike Mayock and also John Gruden, and you could tell like with John Gruden, he's trying extremely hard just to weather all of these storms, just trying to play the good cop here, but like at some point, like even he cannot just continuously have AB's back 24/7. Like sooner or later, this man needs to be accountable for his actions, and it's just so abundantly clear he's just not capable of that. Like it's always team AB 24/7, and I think and guys such as Ryan Clark has said this on like numerous of occasions. It's just who he is. You know, he's a very selfish individual who does not give a damn about any sort of like team accomplishments. It's just strictly about him and his brand.
There's a tweet I just found on Twitter from a person named John Sigler, I believe, saying, imagine waking up from a 3-year coma to learn Antonio Brown and Mike Mayock got into a fight during John Gruden's practice session, and Vontaze Perfect, was the voice of reason.
Yeah, that's
hilarious.
If that doesn't scream irony, then I don't know what does. I mean, I just cannot believe that this man is willing to risk losing all of his guaranteed dollars. Like, does he not realize that Oakland can easily just take all of that away? Does he even care? I mean, probably not, because he did say in the offseason, hey, I don't really need football, but I guarantee you within like 3 or like 4 years when he's completely broke because his spending habits are pretty well documented. I mean, definitely one of the main reasons why I felt that he wanted out of Pittsburgh is because he's probably broke. Like, he spent all of his guaranteed dollars like that. So,
and a tweet from Ian Rappaport from earlier today more about the fight is, quote, more on Raiders wide receiver Antonio Brown and Mike Mayock yesterday. Did not get physical, sources say, but after a screaming match, Brown told Mayock that he would hit him in the face and then punt the football and said, find me for that. So if he does get suspended officially, I don't think he's officially suspended, right?
No,
as of this recording.
No, nothing yet. But I would imagine that we're probably are going to be getting something probably in the next 24 hours.
Mike
imagine.
Tannenbaum, on Twitter. I don't know. I forget where. I don't know where he works for.
He was the former GM for the New York Jets.
Okay. Says the significance of a suspension is that it would void, assuming normal contract language, his $29,125,000 in contract guarantees. However, if he's on the active roster on opening day, his $14,625,000 2019 salary becomes guaranteed because he's a veteran. They could suspend him. Yep. And then release him, and then they would owe him nothing in terms of guaranteed money. The Raiders, in all likelihood, would try to recoup their $1 million signing bonus as well.
Which is exactly why I think that they're going to suspend him, and that they're going to say, We are suspending him due to conduct detrimental to the team or the organization, and that'll be enough to pretty much screw AB out of any of the guaranteed dollars that he's owed. And he has no one but himself to blame for this. Just like you can only act like a complete idiot so many times before sooner or later enough is enough. Because unlike with the Steelers, he's not gonna be given a free ride. Tomlin let him get away with a lot, and that was strictly because of his on-field play. But even Tomlin, I think Tomlin told, I think it was James Harrison, he was like, we will put up with him until he stops producing on the field. And that was the way that he saw it. And I think when AB honestly looks back on it, he will realize how much of a idiot that he was for burning that bridge. And I'm hoping with these latest antics that we can stop with this freaking narrative that the reason why AB wanted out of Pittsburgh was due to Ben Roethlisberger. It was because of AB and his selfishness and just his inability to take accountability for any of his actions, whether it be on the field, off the field, or whatever. There is a laundry list of events, and I'm not even talking about his time in Pittsburgh. Just within the last 6 months, it's ridiculous.
It's even worse than he was here.
Yes, because and two, at least with the Steelers, if they kept that as quiet as they possibly could. I mean, whereas with Oakland, everything that is out in the freaking open. So
it's I don't know. I don't know. Everybody here is just laughing.
Oh yeah,
laughing. I can't even think of the word. Hysterically. There we go. I mean, how? I don't even know.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much else to say about that.
It's going to be like that, and I hope the high heaven that if he gets released, don't go to the Patriots.
He's not going there. I guarantee you, he's not going there.
Everybody's saying it's like somehow if he goes there.
First of all,
in
order for him to actually go there, two things would need to happen. He would need to try and be coachable, which good luck with that. And number two, he would have to take a significant pay cut. Do you see Antonio Brown taking a significant pay cut to play for any organization? He was unhappy with the most prestigious arguably the most prestigious organization in football.
He was getting paid buku bucks.
Exactly. So I don't see. I mean, if you are any organization, why would you think by having him come in that he would act any differently?
I wouldn't want him.
He couldn't work things out with the Rooney family. The Rooney family. That should be a red flag to anyone who cannot work things out personally with the Rooneys. Because at least with the Le'Veon situation, that was strictly business. That was strictly business. It was never personal or anything. It's just he wanted more money. That was it. Mm-hmm. Whereas AB, it was so much more personal, and that's pretty damn obvious.
Well, let's move on from Antonio Brown, but let's keep with the football topic.
Mm-hmm.
And since today, football starts.
Mm-hmm.
The Packers and Bears are playing. I don't know what the score is.
7-3, Green Bay right now.
Oh, at halftime.
Yeah.
Let's give our picks for predict the season here. Picks for division.
Yep.
Super Bowl picks and
yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
MVP.
as far as division winners are concerned, in the NFC, I have the Philadelphia Eagles winning the NFC,
Yeah.
winning the NFC North or East or
East.
the NFC East. I have the Seattle Seahawks winning the NFC West. I have the Carolina Panthers winning the NFC South, and I have the Chicago Bears winning the NFC North. In the AFC, I have the Steelers winning the AFC North. I have the Houston Texans winning the AFC South. I have the Kansas City Chiefs winning the AFC West. And, of course, I have the Patriots winning the worst division in football by far, which is the AFC East.
Yeah. I'll go, obviously, I'll work backwards here. Patriots again. AFC West. The Raiders. No. Absolutely not. I'll go with the Chiefs again. No reason to. There's probably only one other team that probably could compete, but I'll go with the Chiefs. AFC North. I'll go with Steelers. And the South. Colts are out of it. Titans are gonna be. Yeah. I'll go with Houston. With that.
Yeah, even though Houston made some of the worst trades last weekend, that they to me are still by far the most talented team in that division.
Jacksonville's the only viable,
and we really don't know what the quarterback situation is like. Even with Foles there, just him outside of Philadelphia hasn't exactly been really pleasant. Just remember his days with the then St. Louis Rams. So.
And over on the NFC, go to the East. I'll stick with the Eagles. NFC West. That's pretty much toss, but you had Seattle, right?
Yeah. I have it Seattle and the LA Rams battling it out at the top there.
I'll go with to be different on this one. I'll go with the Rams there. But I do see between those two it could be close. Looking at the thing here, it's going to be close.
Yeah.
NFC North, Bears.
Yeah.
And NFC South.
NFC South is pretty tough. It
is tough. To me, it's between Carolina and the perennial good team, the Saints.
The Saints, yeah.
I'm going to go with the Saints. I'm going to be different, but that's to me that's another.
It's a very hard division.
Yeah. So that's our division winners. That's I know that's not technically what we have down, but eventually it's going to lead to the Super Bowl picks. AFC and NFC matchup in winner in the playoffs. AFC champion. I'm sorry.
Or I'm looking Super Bowl winner.
Well, who wins the AFC? Who wins? Who's the final four?
Okay, I have the Steelers and the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship.
Not the Patriots again.
Not the Patriots. I as good as Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are, to me, and every single year they are constantly there. But I just feel like that their lack of talent, on their current roster should be a real great concern. They have concerns on the offensive line, who is at their tight end. They really, outside of Edelman, they really don't have any marquee targets. And I believe at the first round pick, Keanu Henry, I believe he was out of NC State, is now out for the season, or he's on short-term IR. So there's still a lot of questions there, and I personally believe that with the Steelers, that that they are just going to be so much more on focus this season, minus AB and all of the freaking nonsense. I also believe that their defense is going to be a much better defense. Them drafting Devin Bush out of Michigan. I feel like he could possibly win defensive rookie of the year. I really like their signing of Steven Nelson from the Kansas City Chiefs. I feel really optimistic. I don't really think that the offense is going to be all that worse. I mean, if there has been one thing, and I've said on the podcast before, this team can really draft and really develop wide receivers. And, with them, Kansas City, they are by far the most prolific offense in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes is just a freaking unicorn. Just a great quarterback, a great kid, just a really good ambassador for the league. Even though I technically hate the Kansas City Chiefs, I really respect him, and he's quite frankly a very likable guy. And I just have concerns about Kansas City's defense. Their secondary specifically, because obviously they lost Steven Nelson, who's now with the Steelers. They still have a pretty good front seven. They also signed Tyrann Mathieu, who was with Houston last year. But I have the Steelers and the Kansas City Chiefs over in the AFC. Over in the NFC, I have the Philadelphia Eagles and the Seattle Seahawks in the NFC Championship game. And then as my Super Bowl, I am going to have the battle for the Keystone State between the Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles. Could you imagine that there?
I could.
Pittsburgh versus Philadelphia.
But until on the AFC, until I'm proven wrong, and maybe because I predicted it, it's not going to happen now. But until they prove me wrong, I'm putting New England in there because
I don't blame you.
Because they have their freaking magical pixie dust that helps them. Just because their top draft pick is out, that means nothing.
Oh,
it doesn't matter.
And their starting center is now out for
doesn't
the season
matter.
Too.
The backup, they're gonna pick a guy out of the freaking street, and he's gonna be freaking amazing, and nothing's gonna slow them down. Maybe they'll lose 2 games, whoa, maybe 3, but somehow the once they get into they're gonna get a freaking first round bye somehow.
Well, it also
why it's gonna come down to? It's gonna come down to this opening day against the Steelers. Some BS is gonna happen. It's probably going to be close, but they're going to win, and that one game is going to get decided.
Also helps, too, that they play in the worst division in football. Those are, outside of maybe
I'm not bitter at
one
all.
game. They're, that division is just an absolute freaking joke. It just, there's Nope, there's not, and that is why partially why they are constantly in it every single year is just they win 5 of their 6 regular season games against them. That's pretty much, and when that's half of your win total right there. Hell, that speaks for itself right there.
And there was a debate with, I know there was, I think we had one the other day when we had a bonfire, and I think it was about baseball, but this still applies, that I'd rather be in the division, that's baseball, I'd rather be in the division that is tight and not one person pulls out than being in a division where you have like one good team and everybody else is just like, let's to go back to baseball real quick. It's because we're in Pittsburgh and this is our division, the NL Central. For a while there, before the Pirates dropped off a cliff, it was basically before the All-Star break, going into the All-Star break. It's pretty much pretty much all teams were in it at that point.
Yep.
Not just Cincinnati, but they were freaking close. I'd rather be in that division because anybody can win it. Everybody was close. If you need to go hot a little bit, it was going back and forth. Then say, I don't know, Houston, the AL Central. Was it AL Central?
Or
or is it
they
AL South? Whatever.
A,
whatever the like
AL West.
Yeah, whatever the Astros in. They're like 50 games ahead, and like everybody else is just like just playing the play. I don't know what the other teams are in terms of the wild card thing. If anybody in that division had a chance, I don't have the standings up in front of me, but it's just like, the hell, the season's wasted. Like if you're in the AFC East, if you're the Jets or the Dolphins or the Bills, for God's sakes, it's like, and you're a fan, you know in your heart that you're probably not going to win.
Nope.
Because it's the Patriots. I don't know, maybe the second best team is what? Maybe the Bills.
New York.
Is it the Jets now?
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't keep up on it. So
yeah, Miami is arguably the worst team now in football now.
Maybe the Jets, but it's still the Jets. But so it's not a competitive division. At least the Steelers division, you have the Ravens. It's always usually the Ravens and Steelers.
I guarantee you, if the Patriots were in the AFC North, they would find it a lot harder winning games consistently, especially against either us or against Baltimore.
The Bengals sometimes are always in it, like every other year, and now the Browns are coming on.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be competition.
Yep.
It is not to diss the Bengals, but to diss the Bengals, it's probably a three-team race. The three-team race.
Like Cincinnati, to me, is maybe a 4 or a 5-win team this year. And that's probably is being kind because they, like, when you put them up against either Baltimore, Cleveland, or in Pittsburgh, like, they just don't compare. They no longer have a great defense. AJ Green is constantly hurt. Andy Dalton is the definition of inconsistency. So I mean, it's pretty much how that.
I would, but to get back to my picks because that was a big tangent. I do like the Steelers. I'm optimistic, but I don't know. I just have this feeling. I'm going to go with the Patriots and Chiefs in the AFC. But obviously, I hope Pittsburgh makes it and proves me wrong. That's when I hope I'm wrong because I know this is my expertise in football is as good as my expertise in
MMA.
MMA, yeah, or being a fighter pilot. It's a terrible example, but anywho, NFC. I'll say the Eagles. And the hell, because it's gonna be wrong anyways. Let's do the Eagles and the Bears.
The Bears?
Because the better talk of the big talk, right? They're supposed to be decent, right?
They are, but the thing is, I think what's ultimately is going to hold it back is the quarterback play. Mitchell Trubisky is just really, really inconsistent. they have a devastating defense. Like there's probably not a better defense than the Chicago defense, but their inability to move the ball consistently. I mean, they will have a really creative and a really good running game, but I just don't think that they can move the ball consistently through the air enough to win or eventually get to a NFC championship, which is why I am a bigger believer in Seattle, who I feel are a more complete team because of what Russell Wilson has done with a lot less, and now they acquired Davion Clowney from Houston. So like they're going to be a very hard team to beat this year, which is why I have on Philadelphia and Seattle in the NFC Championship, and I am going more homer here. Steelers finally win their 7th Super Bowl and reclaim their spot as the franchise with the most Super Bowl wins. Yes, #Homer.
Yeah, when it comes to this, I'm pretty much talking out the left side of my ass.
Yeah.
Super Bowl. Till they prove me wrong. One point Patriots back in there against a rematch against Philly.
Philly again, huh? Brother, I really hope that doesn't happen.
Me either. But I'm gonna be on the downer side there. I don't trust Kansas City to really win much in the playoffs with what's his face's coach, because that's stigma.
It's more so with their defense not being able to get
right. Like I said, they get there.
Stops. Yeah.
I could be totally wrong in these picks. I could be totally right or close. Once the season starts, which it already did, you never know what happens. I could be surprised. We could all be surprised. We could all be talking out of our asses right now. Who knows? That's the fun of it. So, if you're listening, you're probably listening to my picks and laughing your ass off. That's fine. I don't care. I don't have money on it yet.
Thank God.
Thank God. Anything else about football?
No, I think we should probably move on here.
Let's you haven't heard about Dorian. Let's go over that real quick before we get more of the other.
I'll let you talk about that there, buddy.
So as of this recording, we wanted to talk about this last week, but things drastically changed, and I didn't feel like it would have been right to put wrong stuff out, because at this time last week it was just supposed to be a tropical storm, but we know that didn't happen.
The Bahamas got destroyed.
Yeah. Thoughts and prayers to everybody in the Bahamas. Seeing pictures from there that pretty much towns, villages, what have you, are completely flattened, pretty much wiped off the map. It was pretty much that hurricane was sitting over the same spot basically for like at least a day, with winds gusting well over 100, 150 miles per hour. At one point at this peak intensity, over 200 at times. I can't imagine being there for a day of winds around 100 miles per hour. We had a downdraft. Oh my God, I'm blanking on the weatherman. Downburst couple months ago here, and that was intense wind, and trees fell down, but that was for like 5 minutes, and that was probably only like maybe 60 miles per hour. Imagine a day of 100+ mile per hour winds.
Imagine
rain.
Imagine it being for like 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days. Well, I forget how much. Imagine that. I can't.
I don't like. I don't. I don't know how people survived down there. Like I was just watching the Weather Channel on like Sunday, and just seeing all of him flooding and him surges. I don't know how. I mean, like it's quite amazing if you set that out how you survived. Like it's just such a dangerous place to be at, and the thing was, that like whole thing would just it just stopped there. Like it wasn't moving.
It was stationary.
It was very stationary, and was just sat there for a good 48 hours.
Damn
with
close to it, yeah.
With the eye there. So I mean, like, I was just, man, those poor people there. I tell you, it's
so right now it is.
It's like category 2 now. It's only like over 100.
But still, as of I guess 10 o'clock.
It's in the Carolinas, right?
10 o'clock. It is right off the coast of South Carolina, close to the North Carolina, South Carolina border. It is category 2, with winds, max sustained winds of 100 miles per hour. So by the time this gets published at about, should come up 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon, it should be out by New England, way off the coast. But there should have been be a landfall with the eye somewhere, I guess early Friday morning, on the Outer Banks of North Carolina. The dangerous thing is probably might be a category 1, category 2 at the time. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of rain, it's going to be a lot of wind, but this storm surge, probably going to see pictures from the Outer Banks in a couple days. I don't know how many can't speak words. Storm surge there should be. Let me see if I can find. Here we go. Outer Banks. I can't. Right along the Outer Banks could be at least greater than, at some spots, I can't zoom in anymore, at least 3 feet above normal dry ground. In some place inland in North Carolina, this is I don't know, I can't see a town, could get up to above 6 feet above normal ground, even inland. So that's the worst, the biggest part of probably of the storm. I know like places like Myrtle Beach, probably right now can get above 3 feet of storm surge. So that's the big thing that people should heed the wordings, because that is the big thing that people die from in the hurricane. Not anything, not wind, but it's the flooding. And there is storm surge warnings as of now from places from Wilmington, North Carolina, all the way up to Hampton, Virginia, Virginia Beach, Norfolk. So even though it might not directly hit you, you could still get storm surge from the winds driving it in the ocean water. So you probably by this time that you're listening to it, it should be all the way out by Maine, north of Maine, New England. Some places in New England could get some rain from it, technically directly, indirectly, because there's a cold front coming through at the same time, helping to push it out into the Atlantic. So places like Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island could see some rain, but nothing like what South Carolina, North Carolina are going to get. So that's pretty much it from that. So if you're listening somehow down on the East Coast, please be safe. I hope you were safe and everything is as good as it can be down there. But yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, so this weekend is a pretty big weekend for MMA. This weekend is the Abu Dhabi card, being headlined by Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Dustin Poirier for the UFC lightweight title. This is going to be a very competitive fight. I've been seeing a lot of fans and people, for that matter, who are thinking that Khabib is just going to walk right through Poirier, and I can't say that I agree with that at all. Poirier, and as we saw in his last fight against Max Holloway, he's a very powerful fighter, a very powerful striker. I do think that his takedown defense is really good. I'm just wondering if Khabib cannot get the takedown, how is he going to react? Is his striking good enough to where he can manage Poirier? But I don't believe that he could. And I've been going back and forth, and I'm trying to talk myself into taking Poirier here. I do think that it is going to be a pretty close fight, but I am going to I am going to stick with Khabib. At this point, my mind has been going back and forth a lot for the last week. You gotta kind of wonder though. With Khabib winning, I'm hoping, I'm praying that they finally give Tony Ferguson his goddamn title shot that he's been. I don't think that there's been a more deserving guy for a title shot than Tony. So I'm hoping just for his sake that he finally gets that. And Dana White even came out and has been talking this week that regardless of who actually wins, that Tony is going to be getting that next title shot. I mean hell, Matt, he's won his last 12 fights.
Is this Khabib?
No, I'm Tony. Tony Ferguson.
I'm sorry, I'm
Khabib.
zoned out there.
Yeah, Khabib. He's like 28-0 or something like that. He's undefeated. But yeah, I am going to go with Khabib there, and also Bellator.
Good, because he's like a minus 500 favorite.
Yeah, like it's like some insane number, which is why I don't know why people are not putting more money on like a Poirier just because Khabib is such a significant favorite, and I just don't think that it's going to be that dominant of a performance against Poirier. So, which is why I'm kind of like leaning towards taking Poirier in that fight. But moving on to the Bellator card, this is going to be really fun card from Bellator. This is being headlined for the heavyweight title fight between Ryan Bader versus Czech Congo. This is taking place at the SAP Center in San Jose. Pretty much Ryan Bader is probably the most dominant fighter right now for Bellator. He's been like one of those guys who really made a really good decision leaving the UFC. He's really benefited, and quite frankly, his career has just never been any hotter. Like, he just ran through the heavyweight Grand Prix, just pretty much has just eviscerate anyone in front of him, and I don't expect to, I don't expect that to end anytime soon. Czech Congo is a really powerful striker, but I really feel that with Ryan Bader, he's just going to wrestle him. He's just going to out grapple him. Like, he's going to make his life a very, very difficult on Saturday. So I am going with Ryan Bader to win and to retain his heavyweight title via unanimous decision. I'm not exactly sure where Bellator's heavyweight division goes from there. It's still a very young division. Maybe he fights maybe a Roy Nelson or something like that, but it's just not a lot of challengers there. And the thing too with like Barry, he's also their 205 champion, but he completely cleaned out that whole division there too. So he really doesn't have too many challengers right now. So it's pretty incredible how much that he has dominated. Also on this card is the start of the Bellator featherweight tournament. Basically, it's like 16 fighters that Scott Cooker announced a few months ago, and I believe it's like 4 of them are happening on this card, and I believe that the other 4 fights are happening on their September 28th show, which I unfortunately will not be able to see since I am going to a wedding then. But yeah, so on this card you have Daniel Strauss versus Derek Campos. You also have Pat Caron versus Adam Porix. You have Taiwan Claxton versus Emmanuel Sanchez. You have Sam Sechilla versus Pedro I'm going to completely butcher his last name, but Pedro Carvalho. I definitely butchered that. And also you have Caston Polonos versus Daniel Carey. So it's going to be a very, very exciting night for fights. I've always loved Scott Cooker's want to constantly do these tournaments. It's a really good way to profile fighters, to build them up. So far, like that, they've done a heavyweight Grand Prix, they've done a welterweight Grand Prix, and now they are doing one for the featherweights. And Scott Cooker has talked numerously that he would like to do at least one tournament every year. I've always been a fan of those things. Back when Pride was still active, that was constantly happening. So I mean, like, these are just they are really, really fun cards, and I'm really looking forward to a very long day of MMA fights on Saturday while while either Mr. Matt will probably be like working most of on Saturday.
That will be, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I just looked up prop bets here
Mm-hmm.
for Khabib and Dustin.
Yeah.
And to win by decision, Dustin to not win by decision
Mm-hmm.
is a minus 3,335. A $20 bet gets you 60 cents.
Wow.
So
Yeah. Goddamn. Yeah.
So safe to say, and to not win by finish, Dustin is minus 770.
Mm-hmm.
So not looking too good in the prop department for him.
No.
So I think the greatest odds for a winning method for Khabib is by submission because it's plus 175,
Mm-hmm.
and Dustin to win by submission is plus 2,000.
Also, one thing that I forgot to also mention, Bellator. Chris Cyborg signed with Bellator. Her whole awkward relationship with the UFC is officially over. She is now reunited with her former promoter Scott Coker, who was the CEO from Strikeforce. I mean, like, I can't say that I was too surprised. I didn't feel like that she had too many options, and it just felt like way too perfect for the both of them. I am definitely happy for her. Hopefully she is able to finish out the rest of her career peacefully, and where like she feels that she is getting more respected. It was a very tumultuous relationship with Dana White and the UFC. They ended on very sour terms, and even Scott Coker was taking some like jabs at them for just pretty much ruining Cyborg, and not really being able to take advantage of her star power, and now Cyborg, she leaves a very dead women's featherweight division over at the UFC, and now she goes over to a Bellator, which they have an established women's 145 with a pretty dominant champion like a Matt. Their current champion. She's on a 8-fight winning streak. Her last loss was against Ronda Rousey. when Ronda was still fighting. So that's probably is going to be the fight for her. So I'm pretty excited to see what she does there. But that's going to do for the MMA talk. There was a big pay-per-view, a big wrestling pay-per-view last weekend. AEW All Out. Matt, what did you think about that show?
It was a good show. I don't think it was their best show.
No.
It wasn't bad. It was a solid show. It was. I think it ran a little bit too long because it got over at like a little bit after midnight.
I think that their biggest issue was just how they formatted and structured their actual show. Like, to me, there was way too much wrestling and not enough breaks within the action, like whether it be interviews or backstage segments. Like, to me, they really need to do a better job in doing that, just because you could tell around like 9 Eastern time that crowd was freaking dead. Like, they had zero energy whatsoever. So I mean, like, I just hope that when they eventually start with their TV and do more pay-per-views, which I believe at their next pay-per-view is on November 9th, which which to speaking of that show, or actually I'll talk we'll talk about that after I would talk about All Out, but they just need to be a little bit better. Like, to me, Double or Nothing was definitely a better show. I feel like it definitely flowed. It definitely flowed better. It just didn't like you didn't feel completely exhausted like I did after this show here. So
I was just tired in general going into that show. It was kind of
a very long day for you.
It was a long day for me, so I was kind of already tired. But like before they got to Jericho, I looked at the time, the main event, Jericho and Hangman. It was just like
it was like
past 11. It was just like
11:30ish.
Anywho, let's go through this.
Yeah, so the one thing on the pre-show, that women's battle royal was rough.
I didn't watch it.
It was rough. Like, there was just a lot of botches. It just, like, I have nothing against. I have nothing against Nyla Rose. I just don't feel that she has proven, at least for me yet, that she is really any good. I don't care that she is a transgender. I'm just basing off of what I've seen of her for the 3 or now
she's definitely winning it.
Yeah, and the now 4 shows that I've seen her, I have not been really impressed. And then when you have a battle royal, which included people such as Tennille Dashwood, as Evilise, Brie Priestley, Britt Baker, you would think that at least one of those 4 would have been a winner here. No, it was none of them. And another thing that really annoyed me too, when they would announce women, for whatever reason with the production team, they would not have their camera zoomed in on the people entering in the freaking match. Like guys, I like seeing what's going on in the freaking ring, but I would like to also know who's coming out. Like, they just did not do a very good job with that, in my opinion. But like Nyla Rose, she wins.
Yeah, when you told me who won, I was like, who?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like I was shocked, because I thought for certain that they would have Britt Baker win that thing, but they went in a completely different direction there.
I would have had somebody like those people, the women you mentioned, maybe win it. And if you want to play up the whole transgender thing, I would put it on TV so more people can watch it.
Well, yeah,
because right now
no one knows who she is, first of all, and
the hardcore people might, but you're doing this where just the hardcore wrestling fans are watching.
Yep.
With the TV, maybe you get hopefully more of a casual audience.
Especially too, I felt like since AEW was coming to here to Pittsburgh, I'm like, oh, they gotta have Britt Baker in that freaking match, because hell, she's one of their top women right now. I'm like, oh, it's a freaking lock. No, like they didn't do that, and that kind of surprised me. But also, what happened on the pre-show, we had a tag team match between Private Party, who are AEW's version of the Street Profits. I'm a super big fan of those guys. Just a really fun tag team, crazy athleticism, and they beat and they beat Jack Evans and on Helico with some crazy like it was like and RKO off of a like freaking springboard or something. Like it was just a crazy way to end the match there. Then after the match, Jack Evans and on Helico beat up Private Party. So those guys turned heel there, which I kind of saw coming because they have been losing pretty much ever since that they started with the company. So, but yeah, that was a pretty good tag team match on the pre-show. As far as with the main show is concerned, Matt, what do you think of the Luchasaurus? Of the Luchasaurus.
Okay, I have two things here. Two things.
It's a dinosaur.
One, gimmick aside, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Can't take away from that.
Over as hell too, by the way.
I'm not saying he's not. But I don't want to be like a hypocrite because I feel like in the future something's gonna be different. But like, if not being a fanboy here, but if this gimmick was in WWE, people would crucify him for being too gimmicky. Because it's a dinosaur.
It's a lot different because with the WWE they would like push it so hard and not just like let it like naturally just get over because if I think it's pretty apparent like AEW it's just like not like pounding it down your throats. I mean, I'll recall when a Fandango got like really over and they just like they were pounding that week after week two to the point where it didn't really feel cool anymore. It just felt like really forced, and that's I think why these other gimmicky acts really get over. I take for a good example with the whole broken universe there with the Hardys, like that got over just strictly because it was
you're right.
It was like so much fun too, you know.
I see. It's weird. I don't hate it, and I agree with what you were saying. But I just feel like the reaction would be different. I don't know.
I mean, like
people.
Would it be? I mean, like, can you really say that? I mean, is it as ridiculous as what Bray Wyatt's doing?
That's cool.
Well, like I'm just saying though, like it's just like when it's like naturally getting over. Like and more importantly, they are not over exposing it, which is also another big thing.
Can't overexpose it when you have one show a month.
Exactly. So I mean that's that's also a like another thing is like when someone is just constantly just getting more.
I don't know. I just look at the reactions and I don't know. I don't hate it.
And he's a 6'6" monster who
that's scary.
Is just doing insane athletic moves, like pretty similar. I mean, like he's very nimble. He's just very athletic, and like some of those kicks were just beautiful to see. And SCU made not only Luchasaurus look really good, but especially Jungle Boy too. So, I mean, that was a really fun 6-man. And more importantly, Luchasaurus, he did not eat the pin. I definitely feel that he's going to be getting more and more steam as they go into their MTV here. So I'm really excited to see what he's going to do. All right, so
I'm just saying if people say it's the greatest thing, I
feel
like there's
like no one's saying that, but
no, but you know what I'm trying to say. People, I just feel like it'd be way different if it was on the other side of the fence.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm trying to get at. I don't want to be like, it sucks.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Now, one thing I really didn't like was this tag match between the Dark Order versus Best Friends.
Did anybody really like it?
No, I have not seen one person who actually liked them. My friend Eric said like vividly, this effing sucks. I'm like to me, I do not get what the Dark Order actually is. Are they a cult? Are they like I really don't know what they are, what they're supposed to be, what is so special about them. Best Friends, same thing. Like, to me, they're just a very generic independent tag team. I mean, like, the only cool thing about this was like when your boy Orange Cassidy came out and did the suicide dive while his hands were in his pockets.
You gotta take your hands out of your pockets to wrestle. This is
okay, cool, man. Okay, cool.
It's this guy, freaking I missed the word, but damn it, I want a double cheese burger. I'm messing it up, man. I don't know, but he sucks. Freaking poser. Jim Cornette doesn't say that, but I will.
No, he definitely would include a few
F-bombs. I just don't want to edit this. I don't have no much time, and I gotta remember where I swore, and it's hard.
That's what you said. All right.
That's sick.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't really care about that match, but a match that I did care about was Kenny Omega versus Pac. Holy hell, this was
very good.
A clinic. These guys beat the crap out of each other, and this also really surprised me. Pac won clean. Mm-hmm. I thought for certain that they were going to be putting Kenny over here, but no. This is now, I believe, Kenny's second loss now in his last 3 matches. So they're definitely going into a different direction with Kenny. And my friend Eric actually brought this up. He was like, I think that we're gonna be seeing a more bitter Kenny. The more that he actually loses. I'm kind of intrigued to see where they go with him now. And it was especially surprising too, just because this match was like booked on what 6 days notice. So I mean, I just thought, oh, they're gonna have a really good match. Kenny wins, and then maybe he gets his title shot against some Jericho for their next pay pay-per-view. No, so Matt, what did you think about the match?
It was a good match. The crowd was into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was up there in rating.
Yep.
Very good.
Mm-hmm.
Very impressed with Pac.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, short notice.
Mm-hmm.
It was good, and they apparently they announced Omega and
Moxley
for the next pay-per-view at Full Gear.
Yep. And they also announced this that Chris Jericho would have his first title defense against Cody, which that now leads into Cody versus Shawn Spears. This was a really fun match.
I have issues,
but I know that Matt has issues, but
it ruins the match for me in the long run. I have issues.
Anyways, I popped hard when Arn and
Cole.
Anderson came down and hit his spine buster. That was cool. And Matt's not gonna pitch and complain here now.
Oh, they're gonna edit that out. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, and I'm surprised nobody has seen these two things. Or at least this one thing. John, correct me if I'm wrong. Was this a no disqualification match?
Nope.
Okay. So. So, Tully goes up on the apron. And, Sean took the, weightlifting belt off of Cody and was going to use it. So, Earl Hebner correctly says no. Sean gives the belt to Hebner and has his back turned in the corner of the ring, giving the belt away. And you can see what you knew was going to happen, because I kind of timed wrong, that Tully grabbed his belt that he was wearing and slyly, without the refs looking, gave it to Sean. At one point, it was blatantly, the ref was looking straight at them, and Sean whipped Cody with the belt. Now, John, I don't know about you, but in a regular match that has disqualifications in it, when you use a outside weapon and right in front of the referee, there should be a disqualification. Am I wrong or am I right?
Should there be?
Shut the hell up. Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. I'm just getting a lot of enjoyment of you getting really mad right now.
I think there was another point in the match that there should have been a disqualification.
Was it when
I can't remember?
Was it when they brought in the steel chair and
Yeah. Yes. Was it Sean that used it and it hit it on Cody?
It was basically like Cody threw this steel chair and then he kicked him or something like that.
Yeah, he threw the chair at Sean and did the unrealistic that I'd never liked, catch the chair and wait there with the chair in front of your face, because that's realistic. I always hated that move. And
hey, RVD did that all the time. It was awesome.
Yeah, I never got the somebody catching the chair. No. Anywho, that's a topic for a different day.
It's a work.
I know, but still, got to make it somewhat realistic.
God damn it, man.
Make it some realistic. But Undertaker threw lightning bolts. Shut up. Exactly. Anywho, but when it comes to that, make it somewhat. Anywho, Sean holds the chair. Cody kicks the chair that is a weapon right in front of Hebner. Still no disqualification. Clean as a whistle.
He's senile in his old age.
But if you do the purpose
Forget it, man.
for the belt, I don't care. For the if you hide the belt, if Tully's being secret about it, so the ref doesn't see it, but clearly uses the belt where the ref does see it, what the hell's the point? That I ruin. Like, I'm sitting on the couch here at your house watching this, and it's blatantly obvious there should be a disqualification, and I turn to you, and I'm like, am I seeing that right? And you're like, yeah. Like, what the hell? And then when after Arn comes and does the cool spine buster spot, he walks off, and Tully walks up the ramp in disappointment, not in disappointment, in disbelief. And Arn walks to the right, because they had like two entrances.
Two entrances.
Like Impact. And used to do. And Arn goes to the right. And Tully's standing up there in disbelief. Now, if somebody did me wrong, I would go after them to try to figure out, hey man, WTF. But instead, Tully goes to the left. To me, that makes no sense. If you came up to me on the street and stole my wallet, and I don't know, I'm just pulling this out of my butt right now, and you ran to the right, and I stand there and be like, I can't believe he did that to me, and I go to the left, that makes no sense. I would go after you and be like, yo, what are you doing? Tully should have went over the Arn and go the same way and be like, yo, what? We have all the history. Why are you costing my client the victory? That bothered me, but not as much as the disqualifications or the non-disqualifications in a non-disqualification or in a regular match. Triggered. I am triggered.
That is triggered. But that was standing.
But the thing is, I'm sorry, I gotta finish this. Usually when something like that happens, on the media, on social media, wrestling media and all that, go off on it. Especially if it was the WWE. Mm-hmm. But I saw not one can I change? I gotta go off. We're watching this football game between the Bears and the Packers. Can I change my pick with Bears? Can I change it?
Yeah.
That's already on record. Because I'll just go with Seattle. I'm changing it from the Bears to Seattle. But if it's the Bears, I'm gonna laugh my ass off if somehow they play good. Anywho, where the hell was I?
Pitching and complaining about
yeah. Nobody said anything. I looked. I scrolled through the timeline on the Twitter. Nobody had raised any questions about it. About this should have been disqualification. Everybody was going Google and Gaga with Arn Anderson, which they should. End the match, which they should. It was a good match. I'm not taking anything away from the match. But what the hell, man? That's blatantly obvious twice that there should have been a disqualification. Okay. I'm done.
That was standing. Cody, he wins via the Crossroads. And surprisingly, MJF did not turn on him, which I was...
That's another thing that bothers me.
Which I was stunned by, but...
You have a heel turning...
And
a heel turning on a kind of a face. That's shock to nobody.
It was a shock that it didn't happen.
Right, but like you have a heel with a face person. Well, no doubt he's going to turn eventually, probably. Now, if he was like a face, but minus MGF being the character he is, which is a great heel.
It's the best heel in wrestling right now. It's not even close.
I want to do something to trigger you right now. Baron Corbin. What? Ayo.
First of all, you.
I got it.
Second of all,
what time was this? So I know the beep. Okay.
Second of all, this man actually generates a consistent reaction and not crickets like.
No, he gets noise.
Okay, sorry. Instead of like dead silence, he gets, hey, you suck.
Good. That's a reaction.
Once in a while. But anyways. Moving on, the crazy, insane ladder match. Holy God, the Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers. This was a freaking car crash. I don't know how freaking Nick Jackson did not die in this match. When he flipped off of that ladder, going through the freaking ropes.
Oh my God!
I thought for sure that he was going to break his neck there, and but like miraculously he didn't. But man, was this a crazy fun match. A great way to cap off this feud here. And the Lucha Brothers retain their tag titles, and after the match, we get the debut of LAX, Santana and Ortiz. They were in Impact Wrestling, and their contracts just ended not too long ago, and it looks like they have signed with All Elite Wrestling. They were rumored to have both having offers from both AEW and from NXT. So I'm really happy that they signed here, just because tag team wrestling is clearly a very important thing going on in AEW right now. Matt, what did you think about this car crash here?
Yeah, I don't know which one, what person that was died. Was it, you say Nick?
Nick, yeah.
Yeah, that could have been way worse. He's lucky.
I was like, oh no. I was like, thank God he made it.
He didn't jump fully off that ladder.
No.
Little miscalculation.
Yeah, and apparently when they went back, that his mom was really mad. She and like his wife was like, she was like, you should probably call your mom right now. Like she was like really concerned, which I couldn't blame her. Like
yeah,
like the man nearly killed himself, but it was probably my favorite match of the night right there. Just a really fun, just a crazy, insane ladder match. But yes, and that's gonna lead to the main event, which pitted for the AEW inaugural World Title match between Chris Jericho versus Adam Hangman Page, where Chris Jericho walks out as the first AEW World Champion.
Good choice.
I felt like this was the only choice to make. Although I do feel that Hangman can eventually beat that guy, but in my opinion, he's still really raw. He's still pretty vanilla as a character right now. He does have a character, but like as a babyface, I'm not really feeling him right now. They are kind of teasing him turning heel on the last being the Elite. So I definitely feel that like probably there's going to be more money with him as a heel. But I like that they put the right guy over, and people who are complaining about Chris Jericho of all people being world champion. People, they're going into TNT. You need a recognizable name as your world champion. You need as many eyeballs on your product as possible. And it's not like, people are comparing this to like Taker and like Goldberg. Like, the major differences here is like, it's a brand new company, and B with Jericho, he can still go. He's not like he's not like gassed after like 5 minutes or so. Like, he doesn't embarrass himself while out there in the ring, and it's just going to be a short term thing, I feel, until they finally have
hopefully,
and which I do feel that will happen because whoever beats him is going to be made out to look pretty damn good, and I do eventually believe that that person who beats him is going to be Kenny. So yeah, Matt, what'd you think about this main event here?
Again, solid match.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Jericho still got it, no doubt.
His celebration afterwards, and then like he freaking loses the AEW.
Somebody steals it.
Someone steals the AEW title, and now he's like doing these.
I think it's been found. I thought.
Yeah, it was fine. And now he's doing these like Instagram videos where like he was like the AEW title is now bubbly or something.
Yeah, because he had champagne. That's the thing now. Over now, he's gonna get champagne over.
He's already
got the word. He got the word it over.
Well,
he's got a list over. He's gonna get champagne over.
And supposedly he like released a shirt that about bubbly, and apparently they had the most like requests for that site in their site's history for a t-shirt. So yeah, Chris Jericho is still pretty damn good.
He can get a pile of crap over.
Right, exactly. But all in all that was a fun show, not a perfect show by any means, but a solid show. It's going to be interesting now. We're about what, 4 weeks away from their debut on TNT.
Right,
and also that it's going to pit the start of the Wednesday Night Wars. But NXT I believe is starting on September 18th, if memory serves.
Yeah, I believe you're right.
But something that was kind of weird, did you see with them that supposedly for the 18th and the 25th that they're only airing hour 1 on like USA, and then hour 2 is going to be on the network?
Wait, really?
Yeah,
is that official?
Yeah, because supposedly there's still like 2 or 3 episodes left of like Suits on USA, and that's why they're being preempted.
Push it back then. Put Suits at what time? Suits come on?
I believe 9:00 on Wednesday nights, and I think and my buddy on Twitter was like, yeah, like they're being preempted because like Suits has like 3 more episodes, which just kind of shows you just how concerned that like Vince is with AEW, where like he doesn't even care that they're even being preempted on like USA. Like that was just kind of odd to me. But yeah, Matt, do you have anything else to add? I think it's about time that we
we've talked
that we wrap up this podcast.
Yeah, we've been recording for an hour and 39 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, I can add that to the
but
beep scene here.
But anyways, guys, I think that's pretty much is going to do it here. Matt, I don't have anything else to add here.
Nope.
So if you would just close us out and take us home.
Oh, so Again, thanks for everybody for listening. If you are listening, please like, comment, and subscribe. It's gonna help the channel out. Especially subscribing, get the subscriber count up. You can hit the bell, get notifications when we have a new video. We try to get a new video out every Saturday around 3 o'clock. Yeah, pretty much. Again, thank you everybody for listening, and we'll see you next week.